Hello everyone, welcome to Chirags SQL Server DBA tutorial. In this video, we are going to learn install SQL Server 2019 on Windows Server 2016 with SQL Server always on availability group. So to begin with that, we require a following server. So we have a three servers: server 1, server 2, server 3. So server 1 is the primary node in the SQL Server always on availability group, and server 2 acts as a secondary node for the SQL Server always on availability group. And third server, we require a server for the configuration, domain controller, and active directory. So here we have a three VMs. First VMs, the server name is SQL node 1, then second is SQL node 2, and third is VDI test server 3. So these are the IP address for all the three, and this is the primary, this is secondary, and this is the domain control and active directory. So we in previous video already we did the configuration of domain controller and active directory for the SQL Server always on availability group. So we did that. Go through the previous video related to this always on availability group, so you will able to see the how we did that. So on that, it configure the domain controller active directory features, and second is add the virtual machines to the domain created above. Okay. And second is configure failover cluster storage controllers and quorum configurations for SQL Server always on availability group. So on that, we did Windows failover cluster configuration, and okay, so these three things we did with the second server. So go through the our related to always on availability group, so you will able to see the configuration failover cluster. Now I'm going to install the SQL Server to 2019 on Windows Server 2016 with the SQL Server always on availability group. So here SQL Server 2019 is the latest version available for the SQL Server. It has several new features along with the enhancement to existing one. So now we can check the SQL Server 2019 videos on Chirags tutorial on YouTube. You can learn more with the above SQL Server 2019 features. Here is the YouTube channel link. For that, SQL Server 2019 provides developer edition to use the development and testing purpose without any license cost. So this is the path where we can download the SQL Server 2019. So open that. So when you will open that URL, you will able to see this page. So this is the Microsoft, and here is the SQL Server on premises or on cloud server. So I am going to download the developer version. So in the developer, whenever I will click there, we'll get a file. So this is the file. So let me run this file. After running that exe file, you will able to see there is a three options. One is basic, second is custom, and third one is download media. If you are selecting the basic, so this is the basic installation type to install the SQL Server database engine features and with the default configuration. Okay, so then there is a second option is custom. So then custom installation type and steps through the SQL Server installation wizard and choose what you want to install. This installation type is detailed and take longer than running the basic installation. So when you want the more custom custom features, so you go through the custom installation. And third options we have, if you are downloading the media and install them later or another machine, So as per your choice, you can download the media. So I downloaded the media. When I click the download media, so after clicking that, I am able to download the media. This is my media, SQL Server 2019, and this is the X64, and this is a DB, means developer version. Now as I discussed, we have a 3 servers. So here is my 3 servers: server 1, 5, 6 and 7. So if you go through the IP address also, you can able to see the same IP address I am using. So first let me go through the first first machine. Here is my downloaded files. Okay. So I'm going to run the SQL Server installation from here. So whenever you will click on, right click on the exe file, there is a option of mount. So whenever you are going to mount, so after mounting that, there is a option is there is a file is setup. So I'm going to run this one. So right click on the setup, run as a administrator. Go to installation, standalone server. I'm going with same thing I have to do with the another SQL node. That is the 6 machine. Let me go there. These are the files. Let me mount it. Right click on that, run as administrator. Go to installation, new. So here we are doing to going through this Microsoft SQL Server 2019 installation process, and we are using the developer edition for that, and we download it with the Microsoft site. So this is especially the free edition, so I'm using the developer, and go to the next. Accept the license term and condition, privacy statement is there. Go to the next. If you want to use the Microsoft update, so click here. Go to the next. Same thing, let me go through the second server, developer, next, accept, next. So it requires the setup files. So installation setup files, it's running. Okay, so we got this, and the status should be passed. All the status should be passed. I'm getting warning. So if I'm going through the any production server, so just remember that if possible, then this should be not a warning. You can change. You can go through the Windows firewall and just check why we are getting the warning there, and click on next. All are passed. So I'm going to the next. There also, let me do the same thing. Next. As per your requirement, you can select your features. Whatever the features you want, you can check that. So in my later on videos, I already posted what are the requirement for your basic installation. Okay, so we can go through that. Now I'm going through the all the files. I'm removing the polybase for now, and the instance directory I'm going to put into the and another drive. So I have a D drive, so I'm going to put on D drive. Same thing I'll do with that second server. If any features are missing, then we will get a error. That's not issue. Here you specify the name and instance ID for the instance for the SQL Server. Instance ID becomes the part of the installation part. So I'm going to change the name instance. So inst instance 1. I'm changing that. So instance 1. Go to the next. Same thing I'll do with the second server. Instance 1. Okay, install OpenJRE11, include the installation. So go to the next. And SQL Server agent, I'm going to change this one automatic. Go to the next. Same thing let me do with the second server. Go to the next. And let me check anything I did wrong. Let me remove the polybase. Okay, this is a database engine configuration. Here we have a server configuration. Okay, so here we have a two modes, mixed mode and their Windows authentication mode. So I'm going with the mixed mode. I'm putting the password for the SQL Server. Okay, so specify SQL Server administrator here. So uh, one more thing we are missing. Let me go with the second server and just finish the task same in the same position. Automatic mix mode. So here I'm going to specify the server administrator. So before doing that, I'm going to create a service account in the Active Directory. So my Active Directory server is in 7. This is my Active Directory server. So let me open that. Windows R dsc.mca. Then I'm going to the my domain. right click on the users, go to the new, and I'm going to create the users into SBC node server node 1. I'm going to give same full name, SBC dash node 1, and here's the Chirag SBC node 1. Let I think next step we will get a password. Okay, yeah. Let me check what password is good for my SBC service account 1. Okay, I put it some strong password for that, and its password should not expire, and user cannot change the password after the first login. So I uncheck all the things. Click on that. Next, this is my detail. Click on OK. So now let me check my users. So users is there. Let me check that password, user account, browse. Next, let me check the password for the admin. Admin, then I have a password for that. Yeah, got it. So I'm going to find now. Yeah, this is my SB node 1. Click on OK. OK. So SB node 1 is available there, and I have to put SB node 1 password here. So that's a password. Write the password. I need multiple times this password, so I'm going to write. So for the server agent, edit this, then I'm going to database engine. I'm doing that. Service account I'm using, and integration services, I'm doing that. So go to the next. Okay, I have to do the same thing with the server 2. Let me add the user here. So this is my service account, this is a password, database engine, and integration service. Database. Here I will need the password, so we already written the password. Going to the next. Now specify SQL Server Administrator. I'm adding the current user. Go to the next, data directory. So here we specify the data root directory, user database, user log, and backup directories. You should consider your storage requirement, database growth. So this is my root directory path, and this is system database directory, and this is a user database log path. If you have a multiple space, then you can create the uh, new location for the your log directory and backup directory. And next is Tempdb. Tempdb is the critical database in SQL Server and responsible for the all data sorting, integrating internal objects, row version indexes, DBCC checks, temporary objects, order by, group by function. We should place it in the first storage drive, such as the flash disk. So this is my Tempdb. If you want to change as per your requirement, you want to change, then you can change it. So click on next. Our main motto is SQL Server always on availability group. So we are so same thing I'll do analysis services. If your requirement is that, then you can add analysis services, otherwise you can move on further. So next, so integration services, go to the next, distributed replace services. Why I'm installing full? Because in this servers only I will go for the replication also. Go to the next, accept, next, accept. it will take some time to accept that. So I click on the accept. This is the consent for the install Microsoft R open. So one more consent will come. Let's wait for some time. So after that, next step we'll create that we enable the features of the SQL Server always on availability group on SQL Server Node 1 and Node 2, both the server 5 and 6. We'll just enable the services. After enabling that, we'll restart the service. Okay, this is completed. Go to the next. So same, I'm just doing the parallel. So next stage, we'll create the database and we'll add into the availability group. So it will available with the both the server. After that, we'll configure the always one availability group for that particular database. And last, we'll just test the how it works. So in this tutorial, this is the third part of the tutorial. First part, we did the configuration domain controller and Active Directory. Second part, we go through the configure the failover cluster, storage controllers and quorum configurations for SQL Server always on availability groups. So these two things we did, and third one we are doing for the this one, install a SQL Server to 2019 on the SQL Server 2016 with a SQL Server always on availability group. This is some time taking process. All three processes are need for the full installation, and after completion of this, we will go to the how to add the node in the existing failover cluster. This thing we will go. We have a large topics, too many topics we have. So one by one, we will try to cover all the topics. Constraints to install Python, download and install the necessary prerequisite. As usual, this is taking long time. We should wait because this is the part of the installation. So here, offline installation of Microsoft Machine Learning Services component. So these are the four links are there. So if you want to download, then you can download. I already downloaded the files. So these are the four files. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the four files. So I'm going to locate that, browse, and I'm going to put the D drive. Okay. Same thing I'll do with the second server. D drive. Okay. It will take few seconds to just check the files is available or not. The next will highlight automatically when after checking the files. Next is populated. So I'm clicking the next. So this is my summary of my selection. Okay. Whatever the I'm selected, the additional developer exchange install. So these are the features I'm adding here. I'm going to click on the install. So this is my installation process is started. Same thing I have to do with the second server. Click on next, install. Installation process. I'm going to pause this video for some time. When my installation will complete, then I will come back. So this is my installation completed successfully. So all the features, whatever the features we selected, all the features are status is success rate. So now installation is completed. So let me check with the second server. Second server also completed successfully. Let me close that. So now for the accessing the SQL Server database, I'm going to install SQL Server Management Studio. So I have downloaded the SQL Server Management Studio. This is the SSMS setup. So this is a 15 version. Right click on that and run as an administrator. So I want to do the same thing with both the servers. First, let me install with the first server. So run as administrator. So let it install. We'll come back after the installation. So SQL Server Management Studio, Azure Data Studio is also installed. So it's required for the restart for the complete the installation. So I'm going to restart the server 1. This is node 1, and same thing I'm going to do with the server 2. So both the node SQL node 1 and node 2, we install the SQL Server Management Studio and SQL Server 2019 database server. So both the things we did. Now let's restart the server. Let me check with the ping with both the server is going to start or not. Ping it is started, I think. Let me check. Yeah, IB also started. So ping is working. Let me open Hive. Let me open the SQL Server Management Studio. So this is my SQL Server tools. Inside that, the SQL Server Management Studio is that. I'm going to access both the node from the Hive server, node 1 server. So let it open. So this is SQL Server 1 instance, node 1 instance 1. I'm going to log in with the server admin. Yeah, here connected. Now let me connect with the second one. Let me search the network servers. So this is my second node, SQL Server node 2, and I'm with the same instance name. I think I will get errors, but that's not an issue. I have to allow the TCP/IP protocol for the instance. Yeah. So let me check the protocols. So I'm going with the second node server. SQL Server network configuration. TCP/IP is disabled, so I'm going to enable that. Let me restart the services. Click on that. Instance name SQL Server. I'm going to restart. Okay, running. Refresh that. Everything is running. Let me log in again. So, yeah, this is connected. So now this is SQL node 1 and this is SQL node 2. Instance names are same, so I am connected with the both the server. Now I'm going to enable the feature SQL Server always on availability group on node 1 and node 2, both the node. So for the enabling the configuration manager, I'm going to the always on always on feature must be enabled. Okay. So I'm going to the right click on that. Okay. So let me go through the server properties. Mm, So go to the configuration manager, SQL Server configuration manager for both the servers, and here I'm going to right click on that. Just click on that SQL Server services. This is my SQL Server service. Right click on that. Go to the properties. There is a option is the always on availability group. So click on that. This is a failover cluster we already created in previous videos. So click on the enable always on. Go. Just click on the apply. So we need the service restarted. Okay, so we'll restart the service. I'm going to enable the protocol also. Now I'm going to restart the service. Right click on the services. I'm going to restart. So same thing I'll do with the second server. I'm going to the sixth server. Right click on the properties, go to the always on availability group, just check and apply, and okay. Now I'm going to restart. So same thing I've done with the both. Okay, so I'm going to the fifth server again. So I restarted the services also. So similarly I have done with the both the node 1 and node 2. Okay, now I'm going to create a database to add a availability group. Close this. In the server 1 I'm going to create a database. Right click on that, new database. So I'm create the database Chirags. So this is my database name with the default configuration. I'm going to check, clicking OK. Now I'm going to create one table for the testing table. User ID, for the testing purpose I'm creating, so that's not an issue. No need to do this many things. Usually in future I will use this one. So I'm creating this. I'll click on OK. So my database is created. Okay, now let me take a backup of the database. Backup. I took the backup also. Now I'm going to configure the SQL Server always on availability group. So creating the new availability group, I'm going to right click on the always on availability group. So there is an option new. So this is a new availability group. So there is an option of next. So I'm going to create the group name SQL AG availability group 2019, and cluster type, it automatically says the Windows Server failover cluster. So I'm not going to change with that. So here you can able to see the name of the database. So database name is Chirag. There is a size of that and other things. So I'm just selecting the database, click on the next. So here in replica we will able to see the this is node 1, this is a primary role, and the availability mode I'm going to change into the synchronization commit. Okay, now I'm going to okay, wait. I have to add the replica here. Click on that. I'm going to connect with the node 2. So this is my second node. This is primary, this is on my secondary. So both the node added, and this is in a synchronous commit. Whenever the commit will come, when data will insert it into database, automatically it will move to the database 2 also. So next is this was the endpoint. This is server names and endpoint. This is running with the port number 5022, support number. I'm going to the next. Okay, let me check one more thing. So okay, backup preferences. So in the backup preferences, we'll see the node 1 we have a backup priority is 50, node 2 backup priority is 50. I will giving. Go to the listener. So in the SQL Server algorithm, we use the listener to connect the primary node. We might have the primary replica on any of the participating node. So SQL Server listener help you to avoid the modification in the connection string in case of database failure. So in this case, we have a now we have a 2 node in here and 2 databases. Means similar we install. So if we'll create the listener and we'll just pass the listener to our application. So whenever the one database will failure, so another database automatically it will do. So for that, we'll just create the listener. So I'm giving the listener name L so SQL LSN my availability group. I'm giving the name as per my requirement. So I'm giving here 201. Port number, just remember the port number what I'm giving 1496. So with this port number and this listener name, we'll just connect with that. So let me copy that, keep in the save. This is my listener name 1496. I'm giving the port number. So I'm adding one network IP here. So this will switch to both the nodes. So IP is 10.93.253 dot up to 8 we already use. I'm using 9. Okay, so this is my listener IP 10.93.253 dot 9. Going to the next. So there is a automatic seeding, initial synchronization. So there is, we can choose the automatic seeding, full database, log backup, these things are there. So I'm going through the automatic seeding here to the next. So result of the availability group validation, all the validations is success. I'm going to the next. So this is my selection, whatever the selection we did, this is a summary of that. Click on submit. So my widget is completed successfully. I'm closing this. Let me refresh that. Go in second server, and there is a database is in Chirag here also, and this is in synchronized mode. So but this is in primary database, and here if you go to the let me refresh this. See, this is my secondary database. So automatically this is reflected on that. So node 1 SQL node 1 is my primary now, and node 2 is secondary now. So now let me right click on that and show the dashboard. So this is my dashboard. You can able to see all the things are running here. So replica, these two servers are there, synchronize on no data loss mode, and this one my dashboard. So here you can able to see healthy and all the things. Now one more thing, we can connect with my listener also. So now I'm going to connect with my listener. So server name, and this is my server name, 1496, and I'm going to connect with the Windows authentication. Let me connect. Yeah, this is connected. See, so I'm connected with my listener. Here I'll get the database. So we don't have any data. So same thing we can able to see. I'm connected with the, so here all the options you can see, these are the primary, this is secondary, availability database this, and you can select the multiple database. All the things will be available here. So now one more thing we can able to see here. Previous time when we go through the failover cluster, there is an roles are not available. So now I'm going to show you there is one role. If you go to the failover cluster, So now connected. So now you can able to see there is a SQL Server availability group. This is my role, and we can able to see both the servers. Let me open the developer cluster here also. So connect to the cluster. This is also connected. Come here, and you can able to see the roles. So both the servers are running, and both the servers are up now. Everything is running. So we connected with the listener also. Next, I have to check the if one node will go down, then how it will automatically connect with the second node. So mainly I'm going through the two servers first. So this is my first server, this is my second server. So now I'm going to check the failover. So my primary is node 1. Okay, that means small size. This is very important to know how to change the server 1 to server 2. So this is my primary, and synchronize, commit, and online normal quorum days. No quorum is there. So if you refresh also, this one my first one. See, just remember that this is the primary and this is secondary. Node 2 is secondary, node 1 is primary. I'm going to change that. So I'm going to the next. So clicking the next. So new primary is node 2. Automatically it will change to this one primary, and this database will be synchronized. Okay, now this database is synchronized. We can't open this database. Okay, so second database will synchronize now. So going to finish this. So I'm just performing the manual flavor to this. So everything is completed. See carefully. It automatically will change within few seconds. Yeah, this become a secondary, this become a primary. So this is secondary, this is primary, and this one synchronized. Let me rephrase that. This one is synchronized now. We can access the second database now. Now I can able to work with the second database. So automatically the failover is done, and we switch the both the database, and we can access through the our listener also. I'm connecting. I can create the username and password for the listener, and I can provide that. So in listener you can able to access the database. So in this series we have in this third video of that. First video we done the configuration domain controller and active directory for the SQL Server always on availability groups. This is the second. We did the configuration for developer cluster, storage controller, quorum configuration for the SQL Server always on availability group, and third one we did the installation SQL Server 2019 on SQL Server 2016 and the SQL Server always on